If you're an entrepreneur who goes through the day to day, doing all the stuff, making all the decisions, handling everything in your business, then this episode is for you. We're going to talk about, are you afraid to live your full purpose? Keep listening. Now, I'm Joe Sova. This is the Joe Sova Business Show. Thank you for being here. And today we're talking about purpose. We've got three pillars we talk about, and this is the foundation for everything, not only in business, but in your life. Purpose. Why are we here? Right? The grand cosmic question that you may or may not have thought of. Probably not, especially if you're a busy entrepreneur. You probably rarely think about it. Okay. But here's even beyond thinking about what is your purpose. The real question is, are you afraid of living your purpose and your full purpose? Because what happens if you're like many entrepreneurs out there, and I have been there myself, and it's an ongoing thing. Really, it ebbs and flows as everything in life. But as most entrepreneurs can attest, right? We work the 80, the 90-hour weeks, right? You're constantly connected to your phone or to your computer or to your tablet or whatever. You never get a break, right? Even when you're on a break, maybe you're at a kid's soccer game or baseball game or whatever, right? Maybe you're at a dance recital. Maybe you're supposed to be on a date with your spouse or significant other or whatever. You're still connected, right? You can't stop thinking about your business and all those little things that you have to do. You've got to call this person back. You've got to write this email. You've got to send out this new marketing campaign. You've got to take care of customer service tomorrow because this person had a problem, and it never ends, right? It's that ongoing treadmill that we all get caught up on. But here's a hard truth that you may or may not realize yet. But all that stuff, all that busyness, not your business, busyness is a distraction. I'm going to say that again because this is critical to understand. And when you find out what this really means to you, you can start taking the steps towards those goals and that dream of what you really got into business for in the first place. But busyness, all the things that you do every single day, are a distraction. A distraction from what? Right? That's your question. That's what you're thinking right now. Well, I'm glad you asked, because it's a distraction from your purpose, from the impact you can create as a business, from making a difference in the lives of those around you in your business, from changing lives, not only your own, but future generations, those that see you, those in your immediate family, those beyond, right? Your community, the environment around you, right? Rising tide raises all ships. So when you're distracted, it takes away from all of that. All right. You started your business as a courageous entrepreneur, whether you're solo or if you have a team, whatever. Right? It took guts. It took something that most people don't have. Congratulations to you for that. And whether you feel like you're quote unquote successful yet or not, right? Maybe you're seeing the revenue in, maybe not. Maybe it's not where you want it to be. Maybe you've hit a plateau. Wherever you're at in your journey, one day in, 100 years in, whatever it is, it took guts, and it took something inside of you of knowing there was more out there, or you wouldn't be an entrepreneur in the first place. You'd be punching a clock in a cube 9 to 5. Am I right? There's something inside you that says there is more to me, more of me to give to this world. And it's beyond money. Obviously, entrepreneurship, that's the flashy buzz word out there, if you will, right? You make 6-figure income or 7-figure income or whatever it is. And yes, that stuff comes. And yes, that's a goal for most people. And that's fine. Right? That's all part of it. And we'll get to some of that here in a little bit. So stick with me as you listen to more of this episode. But you started your business. You took that step, that leap, that jump in whatever your business is for a reason, to make an impact, to reach more people. Right. And when you get distracted with all the stuff, right, all the busy work in your business, it's taking away from that exact reason you started your business. Is it not? Think about that. Consider that. You started your business because you could have an impact, which leads to your income. Okay, those go hand in hand. The more you impact, the more income you'll create. You'll find that as you go in business. When you focus on all the busyness, it takes away. It's a distraction from that exact reason you started your business in the first place, right? It's like you started to run a marathon and eating nachos halfway through, right? You're distracted. You're busy from your original goal, finishing the marathon. I guarantee you, that's the first time you've ever heard a nacho marathon analogy anywhere in the world. I just made that up now, so go with it. All right, but yeah, you don't see a marathon runner stop and eat nachos along the way. It doesn't happen. All right, or slamming hot dogs or whatever along the way when they're in a race, right? And you can say the same thing about anything. Okay, your purpose is your purpose. And when you get busy in your business, it's a distraction from that very purpose and that courage that you showed to take that entrepreneurial leap, right? Now, here's the thing. It's easy to be distracted, but what it also comes down to, and you'll find, is that you're allowed to play it safe there, right? And when you're playing it safe, again, you might as well be working for somebody else, right? Taking that paycheck for punching that clock somewhere, because safety is an illusion. In fact, when you play it safe as an entrepreneur, it's very dangerous, right? Playing it safe as an employee, that's the typical thing to do, right? You play the corporate politics, play the games, whatever. You punch in, punch out, you play it safe. That's exactly what a 9-to-5er does. An entrepreneur, a bold, courageous, purpose-driven entrepreneur, realizes that safety is an illusion, right? And when you play it safe as an entrepreneur, that's putting your business at risk. When you're afraid of losing what you already have, I know that's what you're thinking. I've been there, right? Well, I've built this to a certain level, right? I have income coming in, maybe. It's kind of, I'm all over the place. I've got to protect it, right? I'm afraid to lose. If I do something different, if I do something more in line with my true purpose, I might lose what I already have. I've got to play it safe. But that's the exact reason that you can't, because it's dangerous. It's risky, right? That's exactly what would cause you to lose everything you had, is by playing it safe as an entrepreneur, because there's always something else happening, right? It's the opposite of why you started your business, is playing it safe. Think about that time. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this episode and you're an entrepreneur, which you likely are, maybe you're an entrepreneur, but you likely have a business already. If you don't, consider why not? Why are you listening to this and not yet have a business? That's a deeper question for you if you're listening to this without a business yet. All right. But if you're somebody who is watching this and you have a business, right, think about the courage it took to start that business, right? You're doing the opposite of that when you play it safe and focus on all that busyness. Now, what do I mean by that's playing it safe, right? You're thinking, again, I know what you're thinking here. I've been there. Okay. So I'm not casting stones. I'm not saying you're a bad entrepreneur or any of that. This is what most people do, right? We get in that, I have to do it. These things have to be done in my business or they don't get done, right? If I want it done right, I want it done myself. I've tried to hire before, it didn't work. I tried to build a team. I don't have time for it. I tried to put in processes. It doesn't work. I just have to get things done. I'm already putting in 90 hours a week. How can I possibly do anything else? How can you possibly not, is the question. Because your purpose isn't to stay the same. Your purpose isn't to stay stagnant in your business. Your purpose is to grow. You had those dreams, those goals, those values that drive you to expand, not only yourself, not only your income, but the world around you, the people around you, the impact you have on this world, what we started this conversation with, right? That's not just revenue. That revenue will increase as well. That's probably a goal as well. And when you focus on your purpose, that's the fastest way to grow your income. You may or may not realize this yet, but removing the distractions, being relentless with that, and we'll get to that in a minute, that's the fastest way to grow your business, your income, and your impact. Live your purpose. All right. Impact leads to revenue. And when you're aligned with your purpose, it's rocket fuel all the way wherever you want to go. Now, the opposite of that is the fastest way to lose something, right? Is to get burned out doing something you don't like doing. When you have no purpose in your business, you have no reason to continue on. Why would you continue to put in 60, 70, 80, 90-hour weeks, whatever it takes, if the purpose behind it is simply dollars or nothing more than that, right? That impact that you want. If you don't have that piece of it, you no longer have a reason to push through and grind it out. right? When you have a purpose, it's no longer work. I'll tell you a story. Recently went on a school starting. I have two young boys, and we wanted to squeeze in a trip before school started this year. All right, starting in a few days here. And so we took them to the mountains. Had spent a few days out there, and had a great time. Now, this wasn't really planned out ahead, where I was like turned off from my business and things like that. All right, so but here's the thing. I had a client that I'm doing some coaching work with reach out to me while I'm riding up a ski lift to the top of the mountain. Okay. Yes, it's summertime, but they have summer activities. We were doing, like alpine slides and stuff like that. All right. Rock walls up there and things like that. So they had stuff to do. We weren't skiing, obviously, in the summer. That would be interesting. But anyways, I'm helping this coaching client while I'm on the ski lift. And let's say I was, in my mind, no offense to bankers out there, but if I was a banker or something like that, that would be misaligned with my purpose, with my reason for being in business. Okay. So again, if banking is your purpose, fantastic. Go bank away. Right. For me personally, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Right. And I enjoy the coaching aspect and things like that. And so coaching this client on helping them grow their business lights me up. That drives me. That's my purpose. And so even being on a vacation where I wasn't completely unplugged, it wasn't work for me. I was simply having a conversation. Now, there are times to completely unplug and disengage, and that's important too. My point here is because I was living my purpose, it wasn't work any longer. There was no work involved there, right? I can ride a ski lift, coach a client, and have a great time doing both. Pretty amazing, isn't it? So what brings that impact that you want, that you started your business for, right? And you likely want freedom to do things like go on a trip and work if you want and focus on what you want to do within your business without doing all the little stuff, right? It's easy to see this little stuff distracts us from the main reason we're in business in the first place. So how can we get there? Well, number one step is knowing your purpose, understanding what drives you, right? Who are you being at an identity level, right? Who am I being within my business? Am I being the person that does all the stuff? Am I being the person that takes out the garbage, that sends the emails, that is setting up the IT support and the web design and doing all the stuff? Is that who I'm being in my business? Or I'm being purposeful as the zone of genius area, focusing on that I am. Maybe that's the marketing side. Maybe that's being the face and doing videos. Maybe it's leading my customers through some sort of process, whatever it is, right? Whatever that part is of your business that is your zone of genius, that is irreplaceable with you, right? You have to know what that is. What part lights you up? What part do you enjoy? And if the answer is nothing, which I have, believe me, I have experience with that, okay, with clients and with myself, where the things you're doing day in and day out are not, there's no part of it that lights you up, right? There's zero. That's a bigger issue, right? And you got to evaluate everything. When you have a purpose, even if it's a small part in your business, you've got to focus on what that is, right? What your zone of genius is within your business, all right? Who you're being. Are you being the person that focuses in on that? Or are you being the person that is distracted by all the stuff, right? The second part of that, know your purpose, is why you're doing it. Do you want to have impact? Do you want to have income? Do you want to show future generations what is possible? Do you want to create generational wealth for your family? Whatever it is, right? Your why behind you leads into who you're being to get the why. Now, that goes much deeper, but that's really step one, is know your purpose. All right. Think of it this way. You've probably heard this analogy before. It's not like the nachos and marathon running one that you've never heard before. This one you've probably heard, but think of it this way. If you get on an airplane, the pilot needs to know where to go, right? Number one, he has to have the identity of a pilot. He has to know who he is being, right? If you put the mechanic in the cockpit, you're not going to get very far. You might be able to fix stuff, right? But he's not going to fly the plane, right? So number one, who are you being? Are you being the pilot? And number two, why? Right? You've got to know where you're going. You have to have that direction as to where you're going to serve and live that purpose. That's the only way you're going to get there. Or else you might wind up in Chicago or Los Angeles or Vietnam. I don't know, right? You could go anywhere if you don't have that direction, that purpose within your business, right? And the same is for you. Now, part two of that, so you've got to know your purpose. That's number one. Part two is focusing on that purpose, focusing on what matters and only what matters. That's the key. Far too often, when I'm coaching a client, they say, yes, I'm doing what I love and all this other stuff, right? So they've got this tiny, maybe 5% of their day that they're actually doing the parts that light them up. That means 95% of their day is a distraction. It's busy work. It's taking away from their purpose. Consider that in your own business. How much are you zoned in? Are you focused on what matters and only what matters? You have to be relentless. When you are relentless to remove distractions, your business will skyrocket. You'll find that you can create an infrastructure that allows the freedom you want. It's kind of a ironic situation, right? You want the freedom. The only way to get more freedom is to create the structure around you to build out that freedom. When you create the structure, freedom follows. It's not the other way around. Right? Think of it. Let me go with another analogy here. Right? If you have a fishbowl full of stuff, right? Just think of all the stuff in the fishbowl floating around, right? It's just floating there. But if you can direct it into a streamlined, like a pipe or something, right? It has a direction. I don't know if that made any sense, but you get the idea. If you have just chaos and open flow, right, of the ocean, let's think of it as an ocean, and you just throw a bunch of stuff out there, right? And things are going everywhere. Sure, that's freedom, but there's no organization whatsoever. When you organize that, now it's powerful, right? That's what a dam would do, right? You can create electricity, you can create a lake, you can do different things with that resource, right? So infrastructure creates the freedom, right? So know your purpose and then focus relentlessly on that purpose. That's how you create the impact, all right? And third step, final step, is to serve with heart, right? What feels right to you? What lights you up? I've said that a couple times in this episode, but really sit with that, right? When you can serve with heart, everything else falls into place. You know what you're doing, you know your purpose, you're focusing on that purpose, and it comes from the heart. And those three things together, you'll find lead to well past any goals that you would have set with what you need, right? That creates the magic in your business, and not only your business, but the life that you live. Now, the fact that you're still listening to this or watching this means that you know there's more for you. You know you have a bigger purpose than maybe what you're currently doing in your business, right? But busy is a distraction, and it's a deceptive one. It's so easy to fall into. Feels like you're very accomplished. It feels like you're getting things done, but busy is a distraction from your purpose. Understand that. When you realize that, you'll know how to overcome it. That's step number one. All right. And when you allow your purpose to flow through, the world becomes a better place. And that's the very reason you become an entrepreneur in the first place, isn't it? Now, you may have more questions. You may be wondering, how in the world do I do this? It makes sense. Well, you're in luck. Okay. One, you're in the right place. So thanks for being here. That's number one. This is what we talk about. This is what we give guidance on. This is what we help with through our episodes. So number one, subscribe. Number two, go to my website, joesovatraining.com. Check it out. You'll find resources there that will help you build your purpose, live your purpose, focus on what matters in your business. And that's why you're here to begin with. All right. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.